Hello, everyone. Welcome to Model Talk Tuesdays. I am super excited, as I am every week when I get a chance to interview a leader in our fashion industry. Today, we are interviewing Salma Awwad. She is the first female to hold the role of editor-in-chief for Harpers Bazaar, Arabia. I happened to be at New York Fashion Week, walk out into the street with my students, and I see a lady on the corner, and we make a connection, and the rest is history. That's why we are here today, and I have the opportunity to interview this amazing woman. So I see people coming on. Again, welcome to Model Talk Tuesday. Shajaya, I see you. I see you, Shajaya, a student of Pearl School of Modeling. Shout out to you. Shout out to Grace and Photo. Shout out to 20 Fret. JSW41, and I see our guest is here, so let me go ahead and add her really quickly. All right, well, everyone, thank you again for coming on. Again, I am a lady named Pearl, the founder of Pearl School of Modeling, a nonprofit organization. Hey, Salma, how are you?
Hi, how are you doing? Lovely seeing you, Pearl.
I am wonderful. Yes, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule.
So I apologize in advance.
Oh, you know what?
Pleasure,
Look,
pleasure.
I did all of this for you. I did all of this for you. So this is all
you
for
look gorgeous.
you.
You always look gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you. You as well. You as well. So, Salma, this is a very interactive process. I give shout outs, to the different people that are tuning in. If a question comes in, if we have a break, I'll go ahead and insert that question if it's something relevant to what you're speaking on. So let me go ahead and just take this in. So where do I start? Okay, everyone. So welcome to this edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. I am super excited because I have wanted this lady on here for a second, and I'm so glad that I finally got her. So we are with Miss Salma Awwad, and she is the first female to hold the position of editor-in-chief for Harpers Bazaar, Arabia. She is also a founder of Sawwad, which is a design company that has an amazing tagline that we're going to get into. So, Salma, welcome to Model Talk Tuesdays. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Pearl. Thank you.
So
Thank you. I actually, can we start with telling how we met? Telling the story of how we met?
Yes. I think that's a great idea.
I want you to say this because it's so serendipitous and beautiful. So it was exactly a year ago. It was, can you hear me clearly? Just checking.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
So it was exactly a year ago. Can you imagine? It was September fashion shows in New York. And I went there to attend them and found with a beautiful group of young girls in Tribeca. And I just had to stop you and say hi and ask questions because your energy was radiating from you, and we got to be just clicked immediately, became friends, and kept in touch ever since. So I think that's a very beautiful story because it can be magical sometimes without you really planning it at all.
And I'm glad that you acknowledge that because what Salma is saying is absolutely right. So I'm literally walking out. I see this lady on the corner and we make a connection. And then she tells me, I do this, I do that, and you're going to be famous. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It was a spiritual connection. It was a spiritual connection. So thank you for the love. And it's just like, I'm like, she's a spiritual person. So forgive me if I'm speaking over you because I think there's a delay, Salma. I think there's a delay. Okay.
There is a delay.
Okay. So we're going to work through this. I just want to give a couple of shout outs to some of our students. So as Salma mentioned, she saw me with a couple of beautiful girls. So we have students that are school from age 9 to age 65. So that's going to be our audience today.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's very impressive.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So shout out to our vice president and all the amazing people that are on. Okay. So Salma, as we were talking about meeting in New York Fashion Week and me feeling your energy and just being on cloud nine to be able to connect with an energy like yours. Who are you? Like, who is the inner core of Salma? Like, where are you from? Who was the little girl? Like, I just need to know some type of foundation.
Sure. So I was born in Kuwait, and we grew up there till the Gulf War took place. So we had to, actually it was over the summer months, and we ended up staying in Egypt for a little bit, and then from Saudi we moved to Canada, and that's why where I lived most of my life. That's why I'm Canadian. And it was a bit of an insane culture shock going from Saudi Arabia to Canada, from an all-girls school to a mixed school. And in that culture shock, I was a bit of an introvert, and that's when I started like reading a lot of books and using my imagination and discovering like the power of what fashion is and what creativity is. And that's where really my personality was shaped the most. And then from there on, from Canada, I moved back through the Middle East and finally switched my career to fashion and went to New York to study at Parsons and got recruited. Amazing experience since then. It's been a blessing since then.
Awesome, awesome. And for those of you that are a little, are you an only child? Do you come from a big family?
I'm the only girl, but 2 boys. I'm in the middle of 2 boys. Hence the tomboyishness. It's like how I'm coming on without any makeup. I'm like, oh, it's fine. Everything's good.
But you're a natural beauty. You're a natural beauty.
Thank you, too. Thank you.
So what career were you pursuing prior to fashion? You said you switched over to fashion.
Yes. Yes. So I was originally in the beauty industry. So I studied, my undergraduate is illustration. My master's is in fashion. So with marketing, I wanted to go into the industry because I found that it's such a beautiful way to tell a story and live in an imaginary, fantastical world. Fragrances I was very much drawn to, makeup I was drawn to, and I went after L'Oreal. That was really my dream, and I actually ended up being the regional manager for Lancôme across the Middle East. And it was a beautiful world, but somebody else's creation, and spread it across the Middle East. So I really wanted to exercise my creativity even more. That was my main driver throughout the whole thing. And one day I found myself at the backstage of a fashion show in Jishalhoub, a big designer that we have here in Dubai. And backstage, I saw the frenzy and the energy and people running, and I had my makeup team, but I was like, this is it. It was like an aha moment. And I wasn't young in life, and I was like, I wish this was the career I chose. And then a voice inside my head was like, wait, it's not too. So I saw what portfolio was required for Parsons, and I applied because it was the #1 university for fashion design. And I said, either the best or we let this rest. And I went to New York and I got accepted. And it was an incredible, incredible experience. I still have a very soft spot for New York. You know, I still feel like it's home. Because actually in New York, what's beautiful is that people, when they see that you have a talent and a passion, they keep raising you up. They hold your hand and pick you up. And to Ralph Lauren, I went to Armani, Ralph Lauren, Alexander Wang, Narciso Rodriguez, and I worked with these amazing designers themselves. So it was a priceless experience. But my heart still belonged in the Middle East, and I really wanted to bring all this information back, go against like the creative, because usually here, anyone that's uber creative ends up going there, comes here. Here it's more sales driven, marketing driven. So I decided to come here and really, because I saw there was a huge opportunity and a gap in the market, and try to change things around, have a voice in this industry.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So those of you that are tuning in, students, a couple of the things that I gathered from what Salma just said is that it's never too late to change your career. If your intuition is speaking to you and telling you this is your next chapter, don't doubt it. Go for it. Another thing that I got from her is go for the best. So if it's something that you're pursuing, make sure that you're aligning yourself with the best, surrounding yourself around the greats so that you get the most out of that experience. And then the other thing that I'm hearing is that Salma is a daughter and a luminary for the Middle East, being that she's taken the experience that she's gathered from another region and she's bringing it back home. So I love that you worked for all of these different brands. I saw that you worked for L'Oreal, Lancôme, and I actually had a dream about them as well. I'm not sure where that alignment is going to happen. And then Gorgio Armani, as well as some other brands. So when it says fashion designer next to it for Ralph Lauren and Gorgio Armani, what exactly were you doing in those roles?
So it's different. For Armani, I was casting shows, and we chose the color palettes that we were supposed to champion for the next collection. So you go according to trend forecasters like Première Vision, which is the main one that's in Paris, and you see what are the trends that are coming up, so you could stay ahead of the curve, and then you compile them and create different mood boards according to even start the design process, because usually by the textile and not the other way around. Usually designers have to study the textile and see how it behaves, and then according to that they actually design the garments. For Ralph Lauren, I was part of Blue Label, rough wear, and rough wear basically means everything that's suede, denim, leather, so fur. So it was all outerwear, the heavy stuff, which is really what Ralph Lauren is known for. And he actually used to come into the office on a daily basis wearing just denim from head to toe, literally, like a denim cap, denim shirt, and then denim trousers. And it was crazy because you saw that through and through, this was the culture of the company for both of these companies, and they played a big role in how you actually navigated the job itself, you know?
No, that's awesome. Okay, that kind of gave us some insight, because some of our students want to be fashion designers. So Salma, even though we're a modeling school, we promote modeling, leadership, and entrepreneurship. And each student has to start their own business. Yeah. And I see from you working with these various brands that you have now started your own company, Sawwad. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So Sawwad, actually what happened was I initially soft launched Sawwad in 2017, Bazaar, to be the editor-in-chief there. And just to correct your introduction, not the first female editor-in-chief, I'm the first Arab female editor-in-chief. So I'm the first Arab to have ever held that position. And now what's really cool is that in New York, they just hired an Arab editor-in-chief for Harpers Bazaar US. And I'm Egyptian Canadian, so I really feel a connection there. I'm very proud. So usually even in Dubai, international titles don't have Arab editor-in-chiefs. This was a first. So I felt like I had something to prove and something to show, and it was a very exciting journey. But then now I'm relaunching it, having all this experience and seeing exactly, because being an editor-in-chief, what's cool is that you really get the needs and the direction it's heading. And I do have a sense for the zeitgeist. So now I'm trying to relaunch Sawwad, actually mid this month. The launch is on the 16th of September with a new direction. And it's really incorporating fashion and placing it in a universe of make-believe. So it's actually character-based. So I'm creating 3 femme characters, like the Bionic Diva, the Desert Warrior, and under each one of them, I'm releasing a collection, whole new segment of fashion that I'm trying to introduce, because I believe that is the future. Did I lose?
That's exciting. I was watching it. No, it's a little bit of a delay. So audience, just to apologize for any technical difficulties. We're like, she's in Dubai, I'm in Miami, so it could be just, you know, our technical difficulties, but we are working through this.
You're in Miami. I know that.
Yes. That's where I was born and raised in Miami. And then
Nice,
my
nice, nice.
parents are from Haiti. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
wow. That's
mhm.
beautiful. We have a lot of Haitians in Canada.
Yes.
Beautiful Haitians in Canada.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I'm intrigued by this bionic woman character and so forth because I was watching an interview that you did with will.i.am and you all were talking
Yeah.
about AI and how AI is the future. So is that kind of in alignment with the design aspect that you're choosing with the bionic woman?
Yes, yes, yes. You hit the nail on the head. Yes. So actually, each one of my covers with Harper's reflected a theme that I'm doing with Sawwad, because I basically took that strategy, and I Sawwad will be released in sections. It'll be in chapters. So each chapter holds a theme. So 3 chapters a year. So it's 3 collections a year. So that's exactly what I did with Harper's, but instead I did each chapter like an issue. And that's why we tackle the subject every single issue. So the will.i.am subject was, yes, the basically AI and the robotics invasion. But he was like, no, no, make it sound more friendly. And I was like, okay, revolution. And with him, we put on the cover 2 Arab GCC women that are both covered, and they are leading the technology industry here in the Middle East, one out of Dubai and one out of Saudi Arabia. And it was really beautiful for me. What is inspiring is to see somebody as internationally renowned as will.i.am, very smart, very open-minded, very business-driven. He's extremely talented, and he's switching industries also, right? He's going back and forth between the music and AI, so he's multi-talented. To actually celebrate the 2 Arabs that we chose. And he was very much excited about the idea, and actually said that now that we're building AI algorithms, we should have more women CEOs in the AI industry, so that you'd have your robot basically embedded with more compassion, right?
Oh, yes,
Programming of a
Salma.
woman
Oh
or
my
of a man.
gosh. Yes. I
So that
love
was really the
that.
topic
I
of our
love
discussion.
that.
It was an
Wow.
amazing adventure and an amazing photo shoot. Still my favorite. Yeah, yeah. So yes, so one of the
It was
characters
beautifully put
is
together.
robotic driven. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But then there are 2 other characters. One is basically a desert warrior. And she's the protector of the realm. So that has to do more with the Arabian Bedouin roots. And the third one, her name is Dancer, and that's more the spiritual side of things. So it's really my 3 alter egos, and hopefully each woman relates to these alter egos along her journey in life.
Wonderful. So I saw a tagline that says, "From the darkest moment shines your brightest light." Is that the overall theme? Could you tell us a little bit about that and the inspiration behind that tagline?
First of all, I want to say that I'm very impressed by your questions. I love them.
Thank you, sis. You're my sister. You don't know that yet, but you are.
True. But you're really paying attention to detail. So yes, so Sawwad in Arabic comes from the word aswad, which means black. And Sawwad basically can translate either into the essence of black or darkness. And we use it to describe the darkness of the desert night, or the depth of a woman's seductive gaze. So it's all celebrating and I think there's a lot of beauty and so that my spiritual side sprouted. It was actually when I was taking the whole vision came to me when I was sitting with Mama when she was ill, and I was taking care of her, literally on the hospital floor, and the puzzle just flooded in, and it was my ray of light. So I kept pursuing it and writing it down and seeing where it goes, and I realized that when you go through your hardest time, you have the most clarity in hearing your own thoughts and your voice. So you really sprout into being your utmost true essence, and the best comes out, and hence the slogan of "From your darkest moments shines your brightest light."
I have to speak on that. I'm currently taking care of my mom. That's why I'm in Miami. And the weirdest blessings are coming my way. The weirdest blessings. I don't even want to say weirdest.
Yes.
Like so many
Yes.
blessings are
Yes.
coming my way. You know, it's just so
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Yes.
In Arabic,
Okay,
in
so
Arabic we call this baraka. We believe in it. It's baraka. Like
yeah,
when
Baraka.
you act so selflessly and you stand by somebody in need. And I know we're going spiritual now, but you know it's all related. And this is what's refreshing to me is seeing fashion from that perspective. Then you understand things in a very different level altogether. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I hope Sawwad
Wow.
recruits like-minded people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. So let's get into this role of you being the first female Arab editor-in-chief of Harper's Bazaar. So we already know you're a superstar.
Yeah.
We know you've been recruited by all of the major fashion houses for them to utilize your talent, your spirituality, your zest for, I want to say you're deeper. You take things to a deeper level. You don't look at things on a surface level.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how were you recruited
Yes.
for Harper's Bazaar? Like you push
Yes.
you've made history, and as you mentioned earlier, they've now hired another woman. So how did this all come about?
Yes. Was actually it's incredible. It's almost like you said, like miracles that take place. So I used to when I came here to Dubai, I started teaching at fashion universities, fashion illustration, fashion design, and graduation courses, several universities. And I absolutely loved inspiring students and seeing how much talent is taking place in Dubai. It can be the next world fashion capital, which is exactly my goal. And this is my big picture. I want Dubai to be put on the map as the 5th fashion capital of the world. So, but I realized that there was no voice leading them in the industry. It was just an incubation and a classroom, and then they didn't know what to do with it after. To have a bigger voice in the industry. And I literally looked up biggest publishing house in the Middle East. And a company here called ITP came up, which Harper's Bazaar falls under their portfolio. And I went there and I walked through the doors, and I ended up getting a position in business publication to be their fashion and lifestyle editor. This is crazy. That is a whole story by itself, because it's just magical when things are meant to be and you just follow your intuition. It'll guide you, you know. So I spent time being the senior editor for fashion and lifestyle in Arabian Business. And then I became the deputy editor for Stylist Magazine. And then I got promoted into being Group Fashion Director for Conde Nast. And then I stepped out to take care of my mother. And then I got a call from Harper's Bazaar to come in to interview. And I honestly was going in to pitch Sawwad, a position. And I literally sat down in a meeting where they explained the hierarchy of Harper's Bazaar, and then drew a box at the very top going, and this is where the editor-in-chief is. And right now we're looking for somebody that can have this position, who's an Arab and fills all these experiences and speaks the language and knows both the design side and the publishing side. So what do you think? So I literally was like, you know, and I actually said initially, I asked for time to think about it. I actually said no initially because I wanted to take care of my mom, but they came back several times, and the third time I said yes. So that's the story.
Congratulations.
It was honestly a magical story. Thank you. And really wanting to make a huge impact, full of excitement. And the covers that I landed, again, were miraculous. and I'm most proud of the 3 generations of the Kardashians that took place right at the beginning of my role there.
Yeah. Yes, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah. So
I
that
saw
was a
that
fun.
shortly after I met you. I started doing research, and that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
And
It
then
was a lot of
you
fun.
also
It was,
took a risk because
and
Harper
again,
Bazaar never had a man on the cover.
yes, never, never, never. And to be featured on the cover. Yes. And I just wanted to go after him. I just wanted him. And what happened was, again, a story of serendipity, which is crazy, because we shot that cover with wil.i.am in August. What you're doing with AI is incredible. And I was sitting there and we were speaking like on another language, on another frequency altogether. I loved my conversation with him. But time passed and we released the cover in November as the announcement here of Expo 2020, because we have the exposition here. It was supposed to happen this year, but now it got delayed because of COVID. But in November, they announced it, and the government had partnered on a very separate basis with wil.i.am as the voice and face of Expo 2020. And the cover came out at the looked like it was pre-planned, but it wasn't. So basically what the government was doing, for some reason, I had a stir up and I felt it, and this was placed on the cover. So it was a very huge, huge issue.
Yeah, your antennas are up. Your antennas are on. Okay, so I want to give it up to my Arab sisters because Pearl School of Modeling, and for those of you that are tuning in, we're with Salma Awwad, amazing lady, fashion designer, editor-in-chief. The resume goes on. But at Pearl School of Modeling, we focus on building leaders out of women, girls and women. We start at a young age.
Yeah.
And I had noticed that you had mentioned in the Arab community that 40% of women or 40% are entrepreneurs, yet in a global scale, it's 10% that are women that are entrepreneurs. Yet in the Arab community, it's 40%. And sometimes we have this perception that, you know, Arab women maybe, I don't want to say suppressed or anything like that, but that's kind of like, I don't know if that's a global thing, but to hear those statistics, one, we want to break those statistics and those stereotypes. And two, what are you all doing that the rest of the world needs to do in terms of women gaining leadership roles and particularly executive roles?
I think that it's just the fact that it's a younger industry. It's a younger marketplace overall, and we are building it with this awareness in mind. And that's specifically in the GCC, as in Arbia and in Dubai. There is initiative and focus from the government to make sure that that is the case. There are tons of incubators that take place also, where they house entrepreneurs and help them subsidize their expenses the first 3 years till they get through that hump initially. And there are incubators that are specifically for women, growing in numbers. But I never felt that there is any discrimination or any difficulties for you to climb up the ladder in the Middle East. And that's something that we should definitely be very proud of. And you're right, like it's a different, there's a misconception internationally, and it's really nice the truth of the matter. There are a lot of powerful, inspiring women here all around. Yeah, and that is, I don't know, because I've never had any of these issues anywhere. Like I was lucky to never cross these obstacles.
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, so you had mentioned a expo being postponed because of COVID-19. So have things changed for you in terms of your business with COVID-19? And if so, what are you doing differently?
COVID took place. You're talking about like quarantine life. How is it?
How is quarantine life? Yes, we can start there.
I think Dubai handled it pretty well, actually. Everybody went through that shock initially and expected the worst and was holding their breath. They developed a permit system where you had to apply online for a permit before 3 times a day. The masks went on, and we were very strict, and we followed through with that. And now it's opening up significantly. People are slowly going back into their offices. The schools actually opened and students are going back, I think, in batches, different batches, so that it would only be at 50% capacity. Initially, definitely the industries were hit hard, but it's picking up here. We're feeling like, fingers crossed that it stays that way, of course. But I think what happened is people really realized the value of going digital. Things are going now. The biggest example is, for example, in the Middle East, and they didn't have that before COVID. So it kind of pushed everybody into that direction of being much more digitally aware. But in terms of interactions, I think there's a healthy slowdown of the pace of life. Honestly, like from my side, it just forced everybody to slow down, take a little breath, and look around and really assess everything around them. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I know with us, with the school, we've gone online and now we have international students, which is exciting.
Yeah.
We have students from Africa, students from the Caribbean, and it's been a blessing because it's helping us grow our international platform.
I think like that's it. Humans will not, like, our nature is only to change or desperation. And this kind of pushed us all into desperation and forced in the beginning uncomfortable, but I think in the long term it drives us in the right direction.
Absolutely. It goes back to just technology, AI. Where are we going to be in 20 years? Exactly. How are we going to communicate in 20 years? Exactly. So
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So who are some of your favorite fashion designers and why?
I'm gonna say Iris Van Herpen with full confidence. She's my numero uno. And I even got her here. She was all over the AI here in Dubai, and I had a beautiful interview with her, and we had an amazing photo shoot. And because she's marching according to the beat of her drum, she's not following anyone else. She's not following trends. She's not recycling, which is something, yes. Alexander, sorry, I just read the comment. Alexander McQueen, of course, is also my favorite designer. And I believe that Arbia is the future. So if you really look at her, she's just doing her own thing, and the designs are so and original. She does 3D printing. She does laser cutting, and extremely unique, time consuming, cannot be replicated by the fashion industry, does not go through the cycles of the quick fashion runways. She only sticks to couture. She's considered as couture. And most of the time she shows in museums. After her collection is released, she always has museum pieces to put out. So an uber talent, Iris Van Herpen, you guys should look into her. She's definitely like, she's my age and she's my idol, which is crazy. She's accomplished a lot.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you say she put her works in museums, because that's when I first discovered her, probably about 3 years ago. Okay. High Museum in Atlanta did a feature on her, and I'm literally walking in this museum. I'm high on artistry. I am like, incredible. I'm like, is this even real? Like, this is like, this and is.
What's amazing is that when you actually put on her clothes, they're light as a feather and they're very comfortable and very wearable. And you're like, how is this even possible? It's not like a structured, stiff thing that you're walking around with. Devises how she's, and her fashion shows, if you see them, she always partners with an artist so she can give artists. Really, this is the future direction of fashion. I knew her actually. I was surprised because she's a young fashion designer. She's only been around, I think, for 8 years or 10 years maximum. But yeah, that's she's already making a difference in the industry.
She is. And I was wondering when I saw her designs in Atlanta, I was like, why don't I know about her? But I see that she's not becoming, I don't want to say she's becoming she's too special to be mainstream, but I saw that Lady Gaga wore her design for the
Yeah.
VMAs a couple of days ago.
Yes.
So
yes. So that's not mainstream. That's still red carpet, wearing extravagant creative clothes on a red carpet.
Yes. Okay. So what advice do you have for upcoming designers? You know, we have some young people on, or just, you know, anyone at any age, any point in their life. What advice would you have for them?
For me, what I always believe in is to listen to your own voice. You have to listen to your own voice, be true to your own voice, regardless of what's happening around you. It's beautiful to look around and be aware of what's taking place around you, but don't absorb out the noise, because right now, there's never been a time when there's more, very much distracting, and you find yourself going in all different directions. So take that time to really sit down and understand your own voice. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. Just keep chasing after it till it becomes crystal clear, and then you'll know which direction you really want to go. Because for me, every single move I've ever done, the collective voice was, what are you doing? Like when I left L'Oreal, and my position at Lancôme to go to New York to study fashion design and start from scratch, people were like, what are you doing? And then when I left Ralph Lauren to come back here to try to go against the creative brain drain, people are like, what are you doing? So there's always somebody else who has a different opinion. So not to let that sway.
Absolutely. And I just want to piggyback on what Salma is saying, because same with me. I left my corporate job making, you know, great money to just because my intuition was telling me, you're an entrepreneur. You are going to build something, you know, and people are like, what are you doing? My mentors, what are you doing? But you have to have that confidence. I'm just speaking to everyone that's on the live. You have to have that confidence within yourself and trust your inner voice. For me, your inner voice is your compass. While you're on this planet, while you're on this earth, no one can tell you who you are but yourself. And of course, you can have people around you giving you guidance, but there's a voice that's going to speak to you, and it's going to be as clear as day. And don't deny it. You know, have the confidence to stand on it. You see where Salma is. Every time she got to a certain position and everyone is like, you made it, you know, the voice was telling her there's more. And
and still the journey continues. It's very important.
Yes, the journey continues.
In the industry that we're in sorry, I didn't hear you. Say that again.
Oh, no. I was just agreeing that the journey continues. Yes.
Thank you. The industry that we're in, it's very much a trend-based industry. You know, it's so easy to find yourself just wanting to follow whatever is taking place around you, rather than really listening to who you are, whether it's as a model or as a designer, what's your signature, what's your DNA, what you feel comfortable with. Because if you just stick to that for long enough, eventually you'll attract your tribe. What about that?
Absolutely. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in that inner voice. So I see some comments coming in, and oh, that's my teacher from Azad_Urbanista. I'm sure she is an amazing teacher, and all of you love her. Because I can imagine. I taught at a university. Words of wisdom from Lauren Buford. Yes, you have to be able to stand, be able to walk. What is it like? That walk, you may feel like you're alone, but as Salma said, you are going to find your tribe. So let's see. Model Inc. Nicole, everything that you are receiving now, Pearl, is well deserved. Well, thank you. I just listened to the voice, and look who it led me to. It led me to you, sister. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's see. Moments Raw, you're the best in the world. I'm just gonna give that to both of us. I'm not sure who that went to, but both of us are gonna take it. Yes, tears were in my eye because when she said she was taking care of her mother, and literally, you know, my mom is going through a lot of things. Like it, you know, it's just it really hits a soft spot. Aza Urbanisa, my favorite fashion designer and mentor. Okay, speaking of you, okay, Kush Raba, Black Lives Matter. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Okay, women in technology. Yeah, we didn't really touch too much on women in technology, that even with the Arab area, that they are leading in technology as well in terms of, in comparison to a global market. But as Salma said, they are creating incubators to make sure that these women succeed. So that's something that we do that at Pearl School of Modeling, and we're going to continue to do that. So I'm happy about that. Hannah Dennis, the model. Awesome. I love the pictures of Dubai. Would love to go. Also nice to know that you have a master's in fashion. Love the idea of the bionic woman and the AI. Yeah, we're all waiting on that. We can't wait to see it. Okay, that sounds exciting and fabulous. From Grace and Photo about the ideas of the 3 chapters. Salma, I had been in one of your teams in Lacombe. You were the most adorable makeup manager. Okay. All right. And that's from wil.i.am.
Thank you. Who is that? Wow.
Yes. Yes. Excited to meet you from Empress. Masters in fashion. Wow. Okay. Still beautiful. Yes, she is. Okay. Lauren, I did my styling program at Parsons. Shout out to Parsons. Okay, if you all have any questions for Salma, this is the time to. Yes, this is the time to ask. This is the time. If you have any direct questions for this amazing woman that has such a plethora of experience, and that is, how can I say it, becoming a trailblazer in the Arab area to make sure that the Arab nation is number 5. I hope I'm saying it right. It's number 5 in terms of a fashion industry, or the Arab region. Maybe that's what I should say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any tips for a healthy lifestyle? Any tips for a healthy lifestyle is a question that we received from Shania _ the entrepreneur.
Nice. I don't think I can pre. You just have to listen to your body. I'm not. I actually, it's funny that you asked that, because I'm also a certified. I did just for fun, and I'm still trying to master that every day. It's a life journey. There's no way that I'm not the best at health tips at all. Do you have some for us, Pearl?
I do. I would just say, as an entrepreneur, because I see _ the entrepreneur, I think meditation is important. How we were talking about listening to that voice. And if it's not meditation, just being in a quiet space with yourself. You don't have to always be around tons of people, because I don't think you get the message, you know, or I don't want to say that. I would just say spend time with yourself. I think that's healthy. Do implement a workout regimen for yourself. And then, yeah, you do have to listen to your body in terms of what to eat, because I've been vegan, pescatarian, eat what I want. So in terms of diet, I can't tell you what's the best diet, but you do have to listen to your body. And Empress says that voice never leads you the wrong way.
I think the number.
Yeah.
The number 1 thing is also sleep. People really don't talk about sleep enough, like resting. When I was at Harpers, actually the most difficult thing is that you're reaching out internationally to so many different time zones. Never switched off, because LA would call at 4 a.m. Even actually the first time Pearl asked for this to take place, she asked for it to take place at 3 a.m. right, Dubai time, and I was saying yes for a very long time, and then I realized, no, I need my sleep in order to function, right? I think there's no problem with taking a beat and taking some time out to rest. I think that's the biggest health tip that anyone can do. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I'm not getting much sleep these days. I don't know if you went through that when you were taking care of your mom, but you know, that being a caretaker, it's a
Yeah.
balancing act.
Oh my goodness. It's the hardest job in the world.
Yes, yes. Okay, I have some people want some Dubai information, and Dubai is beautiful, by the way. What is your favorite food in Dubai? Okay, we're gonna get into some culture. All right.
Okay, I'm gonna say kunafa. I'm gonna start with the dessert because we just finished talking about healthy. But yeah, we have the meanest desserts, whether it's kunafa or atayef or anything that's very well. It's an extremely tempting culture here. If you come here, that's the first thing you should attack.
Okay, awesome. And then I got from Hannah Dennis, the model. Did you plan on being a magazine editor when you started your fashion school? When you started in fashion school?
No, no, I did not at all. It was literally following my journey, following my path. As I said, when I came here, I was a fashion designer in New York, and I absolutely loved it. And when I came here, I just wanted to pass on this knowledge here, but I felt like it wasn't a big enough stage. A classroom wasn't a big enough stage for me to make a true impact and true difference. So I literally followed my gut instincts in the publishing world, and I climbed the editor-in-chief position. It was eye-opening and beautiful because now I've seen the fashion industry 360 degrees, like from every single angle you could see it from. So I could really talk about it, somebody that just saw it from a single perspective. So I take pride in that. So it was not a planned journey, and I would have never guessed this. You know, I didn't even apply for the actual position, but all it was. And it's always, they always say that when you come from outside of the industry, because I didn't go just through journalism and publishing, when you come from outside, so I came from the design and creative world, you usually make the biggest difference in the industry because you come with a very fresh.
Well, in my spirit, it's saying that it was all written and you listened to the script, and there is so much more. And I'm super excited, and I'm thankful to the universe that we were brought together. I want to thank the audience for tuning in and listening to this amazing woman. I know it's time for me to go because my nose is leaking a little bit from being teary-eyed and emotional a little bit, and I want to take this brush and just start touching it. But I am going to just stay in character and let it just get leaked a little bit. But I want to thank you, Salma, for your time and for sharing your wisdom and energy and love with us and your beautiful spirit. And if you can leave our audience with one thing, a pearl of wisdom, hence Pearl School of Modeling, Pearl. If you can leave us with one pearl of wisdom, what would that be?
For me, the most important thing that I'm exploring now is rediscovering your inner child. That is definitely something that we seem to distance ourselves from as we age, and going back in and rediscovering that inner child really will help you realize a lot of great things about you and help you shine from within. That's the last bit of tips that I have for you today.
Yes to that. Yes to that. Yes to that. So you all, let's connect with our inner child. That is our core. Before the world told us who we are, that inner child didn't pay attention to that. That inner child they just did. They just, they just lived. And I like that about the inner child. You're in your core. So I want to thank our amazing guest again and our amazing audience for tuning into another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. I'm a lady named Pearl, the founder of Pearl School of Modeling. You can find out more information about us at aladynamedpearl.com, and you can find more information about Salma Awwad at sawwad.com. Be sure to
Thank you.
tune in next Tuesday. And yes, I will give the floor to you for any last things you have to say.
No, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for this beautiful, beautiful chat. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hopefully again soon, face to face.
Absolutely.
Thank you for this wonderful
Yes,
opportunity.
and I want us to hook up off of this as well. I just got to figure out how we're going to do that because, you know, I want to party with you and I want to hang out. So
yeah. For sure. Okay, take care.
Yes.
So you
All
have a
right,
beautiful
everyone.
afternoon over
Yes.
there.
You too. Have a wonderful
Okay,
night.
bye.
Rest. Have a wonderful rest. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.